Welcome! In this video we will continue the creation of our SVG charts application and add some marquee text with the PowerBasic Windows Compiler. This was our application at the end of the last video. What we're going to add today is a marquee control sitting just under the menu bar. Looking like this. The idea of a marquee control is to allow the system to display an important message to the user. Perhaps to say that the system they're using is going down shortly, or that there's something in the system that they need to pay attention to. So let's have a look at the code to see how this is done. In the form creation, what we're going to add is a graphic control. Now we're making this graphic control at the very top of the screen for the full width of the screen, which we can get from here. And 13 units in height. Having added the graphics control, what I want to do is to create a new font for use on this graphics control. We're going to go for a 12-point font. And we're going to put it into a global variable called hfont1. Now, since it's a graphics control, we'll need to attach it to the dialog. And we're going to use the redraw command to tell the system to redraw the graphic on screen only when we ask it to. And then we'll assign hfont1 to anything printed on the graphics control. And we're going to set red foreground text and RGB Gainsborough for the background. The RGB constants can be got from the help file, as there are a large number of colours to pick from, with the constants down the left hand side. And the one we've picked is the lightest grey. Now, since we've set that up, we've created effectively one constant and one variable which we'll have to declare at the beginning of our code. And we will put a constant in for our graphics control. Now, having set that up, we'll need to go into the event handler in order to control what appears on the graphics control. What we're going to use in here is a timer. So we will need a static variable to monitor the timer. For a static variable, each time the function is called, the previous value of that variable is retained. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the value of htimer when the form is initialized. And we're going to call a Windows API call called setTimer, which takes 4 parameters. We're giving it the handle of the dialog. We're giving it a 1 to tell it this is the first timer. We want to trigger the timer every 50 milliseconds. Now, we'll need to have a variable to contain the text we want to display on screen. And this also will have to be a static. And having set that value, we need to create a new event to handle the triggering of the timer. And this event will be triggered every 50 milliseconds. Now, we want to display the text one character at a time and then leave it on screen long enough for the user to actually see it. So we're going to create some variables to control the character position we're actually reading and how many iterations there have actually been. First of all, the location will be 0, so our first job is to increment that. And we'll set the graphics position to the beginning of the graphics control. Having done that, we need to test the location inside the string that we're currently reading to ensure that we've not gone beyond of the end of the string. So if the location position is actually greater than the length of the string that we want to display, then we're going to increment the iteration and do a test on that value. And then we will basically reset both of our counters and clear the graphic. Otherwise, we will just exit the function. And our final task is to display the data on the screen. We're going to use the mid $ command to read a portion of the string from the first character to the location. And then we'll use the graphics redraw command to redraw this on the screen. So let's just compile that to make sure we haven't missed anything. And that's good, so let's run the code. And there is our text on screen. The text will remain on screen for a short period before redrawing it one character at a time. It will do this regardless of what else is going on the screen. You can quite happily continue to use the application, and the text will redraw in the background, triggering every 50 milliseconds. Even if additional dialogues are brought up, the underlying dialogue will still continue to run quite happily. This can be a useful technique for alerting the user for something they really need to know about. So, that completes today's demonstration of a marquee control. Thank you for watching.